House is expected to vote on articles of impeachment against Donald Trump this week, and a floor vote can actually happen as early as Wednesday. Now, of course, this is in response to the Capitol rioters and the fact that Donald Trump certainly persuaded them to fight like hell and take action to throw out the results of a democratic process, which of course elected Joe Biden as president and refused to reelect someone like Donald Trump. Now, Pelosi told House Democrats that the House would proceed in bringing an impeachment resolution to the floor this week unless Vice President Mike Pence moves to invoke the 25th Amendment with a majority of the cabinet to remove Trump from power. That is not going to happen. Let me just say already, there are calls by Republican lawmakers to avoid that effort, the 25th Amendment specifically. So really, what I'm seeing as something that could come to fruition, that has some chance of succeeding, is this impeachment effort. But it's a little. Okay, so let me explain how this would work, because I think people are under the assumption that this would happen immediately and then Trump is out with, just a little over a week left in his term. They can get this done. The Senate would, hold the trial after the House approves the impeachment resolution, but that is not going to happen. Mitch McConnell is not going to bring Republican lawmakers back from recess in order to hear this trial. And what he's doing is essentially putting the ball in Senator Chuck Schumer's court, who of course will be the Senate Majority Leader as soon as this lame duck session is over. Now, that's a little strange, right? Especially considering the fact that some of the reasoning that we've heard from lawmakers is that, well, Trump is a threat to this country. He's unruly, he's unstable, he might do something incredibly dangerous, even with a little more than a week left in his term. However, the whole point behind this is to ensure that he cannot run for president again in the future, something that's been reported on regarding 2024. With that said, let's hear a little bit from Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez regarding the importance of holding Trump and Republican lawmakers who spread his message accountable for their actions.
Well, I absolutely believe that impeachment should be scheduled for several reasons. One, of course, our main priority is to ensure the removal of Donald Trump as president of the United States. Every minute and every hour that he is in office represents a clear and present danger, not just to the United States Congress, but frankly to the country. But in addition to removal, we're also talking about complete barring of the president, or rather of Donald Trump, from running for office ever again. The process of healing is separate and in fact requires accountability. And so if we allow insurrection against the United States with impunity, with no accountability, we are inviting it to happen again. If a foreign head of state, if another head of state came in and ordered an attack on the United States Congress, would we say that that should not be prosecuted? Would we say that there should be absolutely no response to that? No.
So I also want to give you the details on what the resolution says specifically. So the impeachment resolution argues that in all this, President Trump gravely endangered the security of the United States and its institutions of government. He threatened the integrity of the democratic system, interfered with the peaceful transition of power, and imperiled a co-equal branch of government. He thereby betrayed his trust as president to the manifest injury of the people of the United States. Francesca, considering the fact that Mitch McConnell is unwilling to bring the Senate back from recess, and they're not supposed to be back in session or reconvene until January 19th, what are your thoughts about the efforts by House Democrats to hold him accountable through impeachment?
I'm all for it. I'm like, yeah, just please stop the nightmare. The whole time, this entire year, this entire presidency, I've just been thinking about that viral video where the food cart on the tarmac is just going nuts, and like just spinning out of control. If you haven't seen this, it's amazing. And then some dude just like jumps in another vehicle and slams it from the side, and it finally just stops. And that's exactly what we have to do to the Trump administration. stop it at all costs. And impeachment, I think, is definitely one way to do that. I think that there's 9 days left. I absolutely think he could start another war, or maybe his first, his first full blown. I know he's been drone striking, but so I think it is a danger to have him still in office. We know that there are also other events or other protests / riots planned around the country. And so, yeah, the longer he's in office, the more of a danger it is. I am unsure, and I think this is up for debate, as to whether or not it seems like he can still be impeached even if he's not serving in office, because that would prohibit him from being able to run again. And look, I said it this morning on the damage report, and I'll say it again. I think that it absolutely benefits Republicans as well. You see, Ted Cruz just gunning for his shot. He's never gonna get his shot. Let's just, spoiler, Ted Cruz fails. But it behooves someone like Ted Cruz to get Donald Trump out of the way so he can get all those MAGA supporters, right? He's deluded enough into thinking that he can, captivate the MAGA base. He can't. They only obey one person, which is Donald Trump. And not even him, really. If he actually so-called stops fighting, they'll turn on him because it's a mob rule. But all to say that I feel like this might be one of those things where bipartisanship might be good to just cut out this cancer that is Donald Trump.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with AOC in that there need to be consequences, because as we've experienced throughout the years, the Republican Party has gotten more and more extreme in what they're willing to do in order to win, in order to advance their own political careers, even if it means jeopardizing people's safety, people's lives, our democratic process. They don't care. I mean, what we saw from House Republicans, but also from Josh Hawley, a senator, was this willingness to still engage in this deception regarding voter fraud, even after the Capitol Hill riots happened, even after people were severely injured, even after it was reported that someone had died, a woman had died who was part of the Capitol Hill riots. He was still willing to engage in that. And so for me, I mean, and I know you agree with this, Francesca. I know because you've said it in the past, not because I'm forcing you to agree with me. It just sounded very forceful, like I know you agree with me. No, but I mean, it's not just about Trump. It's about Trump and members of Congress who enabled his behavior, who enabled his lies, who repeated and regurgitated his lies, not because they genuinely believed that there was an issue with election integrity, but because they wanted to advance their political career and appeal to Trump's base. People who have been brainwashed into thinking that the real victim in all of this has been a man who's been in this insane position of power, who has abandoned them on every issue they claim to care about, who has done nothing for them to improve their economic situation. They're convinced that the real victim is Donald Trump, and they need to do whatever is possible to throw out the results of our democratic process in order to ensure that he has another 4 years in office. On the Senate side, though, I also want to share that there are some Republicans speaking out, calling for Trump to step down. 2 Senate Republicans, Lisa Murkowski of Alaska and Pat Toomey of Pennsylvania, have called on Trump to resign. Also, the single impeachment article points to Trump's repeated false claims that he won the election and his speech to the crowd on January 6th. I want to go to the last 2 graphics here because we keep citing the speech he gave right before the riots happened. And I think it's important to know what he said verbatim. He said, Republicans are constantly fighting like a boxer with his hands tied behind his back. It's like a boxer. And we want to be so nice. We want to be so respectful to everybody, including bad people. And we're going to have to fight much harder. He also said, we're going to walk down to the Capitol and we're going to cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women. And we're probably not going to be cheering so much for some of them, because you'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength and you have to be strong. And as some of these rioters are being interviewed by law enforcement, we're learning that, some of these QAnon believers genuinely thought that Donald Trump was giving them orders to do what they did. And once they had breached the Capitol, once they were in there, they were awaiting more commands from Donald Trump. That's the reason why they weren't covering their faces. They felt so emboldened. They felt so entitled to be there. They genuinely thought that they were doing something patriotic by threatening the lives of others and trying to throw out the results of the election while every single member of Congress was in that building.
And what's so funny about all of this, I mean, none of it is funny, but what's crazy about the Republicans making this sharp turn and folks like Hawley and Cruz and all of the other lawmakers who voted to try and do essentially what these rioters did, but in a bureaucratic level by not validating the Electoral College votes, is that they're participating in a system that already is completely tilted in their favor, one that they have poured endless amounts of money into ensuring that it is rigged in their favor, in the favor of Republicans, in the favor of the wealthy. The Senate is a highly undemocratic institution. The Electoral College is a highly undemocratic institution. Gerrymandering, voter suppression, and yet they still can't win. As much as they game and create the system around their own supremacy, they still can't win. So what do? They resort to conspiracy theories and outright lies. That is how pathetic this party is. And so I think that Donald Trump, and we've said this before, is absolutely the symptom. He's the outgrowth of a very sick party and of a very sick democracy more generally. It's obviously on Democrats too. And as much as I really don't give any medals to Murkowski or any Republican who's like, now very, very late in the game, calling Trump out, I do think that for the future of this country, we need to be fanning those divisions in the Republican Party, because absolutely the line in the sand has been drawn. Democrats need to make sure that every day they're asking their Republican colleagues, which side of this are you on? Are you on reality, or you are on Dark Lord had the election stolen from him? Like, what are we okay? Because then we can move on and actually, and let me just say finally, the impeachment doesn't mean we stop with Trump. Hey, Representative Cori Bush has a bill to actually force all of these Republicans who voted to overturn Electoral College results to resign. So we just beginning with Trump, but we're gonna keep going.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.